So for today, it'll be mindset. Yesterday, I went through exam strategy. Suhal was one of the students there. We had like six kids there yesterday. So today, I'll be going through mindset, and I'm just going to give you a gist of what I did and what I tell my top students to do, and they do end up doing and end up scoring very good grades. So, firstly, what even is this? Does mindset is okay? You guys might be thinking, "Oh my God, this is just a bunch of bullshit." Who cares about your mindset? Just shut up and do the work. Just who cares? Like, doesn't matter if your mindset is good or not. Just do the work, bro. Does this even matter? Like, this is a waste of time, lol. Well, I'm gonna prove you guys wrong right now. I'm gonna prove both of you wrong. So when I say the word dopamine, what do you guys think of? There's no right or wrong answer, by the way. I just want to know what you guys think of when I say the word dopamine. What comes in your head? We can start with Suha.
Like things that like you want to you feel like doing more
Okay, an example.
when you do it. Like watching videos, like YouTube,
Okay,
Instagram,
okay. Instagram, what? Like, be specific.
like
Instagram
reels.
Reels.
Yeah,
Instagram Reels. Okay, and Netflix and things like that. Okay, so that is that
yeah,
your definition of dopamine?
yeah.
Okay, sure. Emma, how about you? What do you think when I say the word dopamine?
It's the thing that makes you happy.
Okay, all right. That's textbook definition. Cool. Could you give us some examples of dopamine?
Doing something you really like.
Okay. Would you say that playing piano gives you dopamine?
After a while, yeah.
After a while. Okay. What gives you instant dopamine? Like the moment you do it, like, wow, this is nice. I can just chill and do this forever.
Sleeping,
Sleeping? You like sleeping? Okay. All right. Anything else besides sleeping?
just chilling lah.
Just
Watching
chilling.
videos, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Wait. When you say chilling, what do you mean by chilling? Like, what do you do when you chill?
You lay in your bed and you watch video.
Okay. Well, okay. When you say videos, is it like what type of person are you? Like YouTube videos when you're eating, or are you like doom scroller? Well, what type? Which one are you?
Uh, when I'm eating
When you're eating? Okay. All right. So do you watch Netflix or YouTube when you're eating?
YouTube. I don't have Netflix.
Okay, cool. So you watch YouTube and Suhal, I think Suhal, you're guilty of Instagram Reels, right? Aren't you? I can tell.
Uh, I mean, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, don't worry, I'm guilty too. So we're all guilty here, but let's fix this issue. So when I say dopamine, Emma over here gave me textbook definition, which is perfect, something that makes you happy. Now, there's two forms of dopamine. We have artificial dopamine and natural dopamine. And these days, 90% of us are consuming artificial dopamine. What is artificial dopamine? Right? Reels, YouTube, Netflix, Snapchat. Are you guys into guys, any one of you here into Snapchat? Please tell me no.
No.
Okay, thank
No,
God. Thank you so much. This is the first sign of success that you guys get good grades. Number one, number one. Done, settled. No Snapchat, you all can win in life. Trust me. It's the biggest distraction known to mankind. I've seen people get destroyed by it, so I'm happy that you guys aren't in Snapchat. That's brilliant. Now, let me describe your situation. Let me describe Emma's situation. Let me describe Suhal's situation. You guys go to school, you guys come back, shower, TikTok, Snapchat, Insta, or YouTube videos for a bit, or you might even watch YouTube when you're eating. And then you're like, it's time for homework. Mom's asking me to do homework. Oh, I have this school work that I have to do. Exam is coming up. Then you do some work, you do some studying, and then you come across a question that's like too tough or confusing or a concept that you forgot. And you know what you do? You put it aside and you're like, okay, you know what? Let me just go on my phone a little bit. Let me just scroll through Insta stories, Insta Reels, just watch a short YouTube video. You look at YouTube Explore page, and then you'll see a thumbnail that makes you want to click and you'll watch the video for like 10 minutes. And then you do this three times, it becomes half an hour. And you're like, okay, let's get back to work. Okay. And when you're doing work, you listen to music, and then you do 45 minutes of work, and then you're like, okay, I'm done. And you know what, I'm looking around, my room looks a little bit dirty. I need to clean my room now. So then you clean your room in order to be productive. You think that cleaning your room, arranging your files, arranging your tables, sorting out your folders is going to make you feel productive. So you do that. And then later your sibling walks in or your parents walking, and then you just talk to them. And then you're like, okay, well, I need to log in now. It's back to work. And then you do a little bit. And then you look at the time, you look at your phone or you look at your watch, and you're like, okay, it's 9:30 p.m. anyways. It's so late. You know what? I'll just push this to tomorrow. This is what happens to majority of students these days. Not just you guys, I was guilty of this. I am still guilty of this from time to time. No one's perfect, but things like this happen to every single person from the ages of 15 all the way to 21. It's very strong. It's very prominent in this age group, right? So what happens, now I'm talking back to you guys, what happens with your end of term results? You guys end up scoring C, D, E, or an F. Your exam results, C, D, E, or an F. Your confidence when taking exams, low. There's almost no confidence. You're thinking like 3 times before answering a question. Everything is at an all-time low. And when you're doing homework, you think to yourself, I don't even know if what I'm doing is right or not. Should I even continue? Let me text my teacher. Let me just fold this page and just leave it aside. Let me ask my school teacher tomorrow, right? So you have like no confidence when you do anything academic wise, right? That is usually what happens when you guys load dopamine into your head like this, right? So let me give you guys a graph. Let me just graph out your lives right now. Let me go on my iPad. Okay. So I'm going to draw a graph right here. Okay. And let's say we call this dopamine. Okay. This is the day. All right. This is when your day starts. And this, I am terrible at drawing moons. This is when your day ends. Okay. This is like the birds. It's nighttime. It's nighttime. It's time to sleep. Okay. So from the time you wake up, from the time to the end, from the time you sleep, sorry, I'm going to describe your dopamine experience, right? Let's say you wake up. Okay, your dopamine starts here. Your dopamine always starts low. There's no reason for you to wake up and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to start my day. No one's like that. Okay. So your dopamine will always start like here. Okay. And then guess what happens when you wake up? What's the first thing that you look at? It starts with the letter P. Phone. You look at your phone. And when you look at your phone, where will you go first? You'll probably go to YouTube, Insta, TikTok, Snapchat, Be Real. I don't think Be Real is a thing anymore, but people used to do that. So my point here is, as soon as you go into your phone, you go into some form of social media, right? You want to see what other people are up to in their lives, or you just want to get updated with what's going on in the world, or you just want to see whether your favorite creator posted or not. So when you do that, guess what happens to your dopamine? It spikes. Your dopamine, sorry, this is off my Bluetooth here. Yeah, your dopamine spikes all the way up, right? It spikes and then it comes down. All right, it comes down. All right, so let's say this time over here, this is like your lunch time. Okay, and guess what you have for lunch? For lunch, you have an absolute crazy amount of rice, not so much protein, not so much vegetables. You just have carbs, carbohydrates. You just take in rice and you eat a lot of rice. And guess what happens to your dopamine when you consume a lot of carbohydrates? I'm not just rice, spaghetti, pasta, it's all counted, anything that has to do with carbs. So what carbs actually do is that they shoot up your dopamine like crazy, right? So now your dopamine is high again, right? And then your dopamine comes back down, all right? And let's say around this time, you decide to work, okay? Or study, or revise, whatever you call it, okay? You revise a little bit so your dopamine is steady, because who likes revision, right? So why would your dopamine shoot up if you like revision? So you study over here, and then you're like, oh, this is too tough. Let me get on my phone. Let me watch Netflix. Let me go to YouTube. Let me go to Insta. Your dopamine shoots up again. And then it comes back down. Okay. And then again, you try to study. You try to revise. You try to work on your past year questions. Okay. And then suddenly mom calls you out, hey, let's go for dinner. Hey, you're happy. Boom, dopamine shoots up again, right? And then it comes back down, right? So when it comes back down, it's creeping down here. Okay, dopamine's normal. And then before sleep, guess what you do? You try to sneak in one more YouTube video, one more Netflix episode, one more okay, not really one more, but like another 10-minute session of doom scrolling, for example. Okay, you just want to sneak it in. Or listening, you just want to listen to music before you sleep, like whatever music you want to listen to. You put in your AirPods or you play them on your speaker and you just listen to music. And guess what happens? Your dopamine shoots up again, right? And then when it's time to sleep, it starts to come down. This is how your dopamine levels are. And do you see all the peaks over here? All these peaks are artificial dopamines, artificial with an A, right? Artificial dopamine. So what is artificial dopamine? Artificial dopamine is things like bad food, Netflix, YouTube, TikTok, so I'm just going to say social media, loud music. I'm talking about very loud music, like putting your AirPods all the way to max volume. All of these things are form of artificial dopamine, right? So we have something called natural dopamine as well, right? So what's natural dopamine? Exercising, playing an instrument. Sorry, my pen got disconnected. All right, playing an instrument. All of these are forms of natural dopamine. But if you take a look at this, there are way too many artificial dopamines out there compared to natural dopamine, right? I mean, it's common. It happens in the world. There's a lot of bad stuff compared to good stuff. That's just how the world is. And guess what? That's how dopamine is as well. There's a lot of artificial dopamine than there is natural dopamine. And what happens when you consume artificial dopamine? You get absolutely nothing done. And guess what? Over here, I want you guys to look here now at the end of the graph. When you go to sleep and you wake up the next day, you don't wake up fresh. You wake up tired. You wake up sluggish. You just can't be asked to do anything. You can't be asked to do this. You can't be asked to do that. And you just turn into a robot. Okay, now I need to wake up. I need to go for music lessons, or I need to wake up. I need to go for football, or I need to wake up. I need to do this homework. Guess why you guys feel that way is because you loaded your yesterday, your previous day, with artificial dopamine. You see all these things, it's not good. This is what cooks your internal system. This is why you guys don't get anything done and you feel super sluggish, right? It's because your dopamine system is completely haywired. And guess what happens when your dopamine system is haywired? You cannot study properly. And guess what happens when you can't study properly? You're going to end up with pretty bad grades. And I mean, I can go on and on, but it all starts with fixing your dopamine level. So now you might be wondering, wow, okay, you know what? I'm screwed. So how do I actually fix this? Let me show you. Once I implemented this, it changed everything for me. By the way, I was exactly like this graph when I was studying for IGCSEs. But once I implemented this change, I I mean, I showed you guys my grades. I went from failing to like 8 A's. And the only reason that happened, one of the reasons, I wouldn't say only, but one of the reasons is dopamine loading, right? And recently, one of the kids in the program, one of the students, someone just like you guys, went from a D to an A star, right? Because we switched up his dopamine system, right? So this is what we did. This technique is called dopamine loading. Okay, so again, I'm going to draw the graph. Okay, I'm going to draw up a graph. Let's say this is the morning. Yeah, hope I have both of your full attention over here because this is pretty important. So you guys, that's the morning, and this is, well, noon. Okay, or nighttime. I don't know why I say no, that's nighttime. And let's say this is your dopamine level. Okay, now let me show you how to dopamine load. I do this now actively, because I'm working and running a business. So this is what I do. I wake up, okay, I don't get on my phone. Okay, I put my phone downstairs. My phone's downstairs. I sleep on the first floor. And I actually bought a physical alarm, like an alarm you see in those movies where people wake up and they slam the alarm. Yeah, I actually forced myself to get one of those. So I wake up, alarm rings, I go to the shower, I take a bath, and I don't even play music when I shower. Some people play music when they shower. That really cooks their dopamine and messes with their dopamine levels, but I don't. I don't play music when I shower. So my dopamine is like over here. Okay. And then around 11 a.m., I work. Okay. I work. Then when it's time for 1 p.m., I go for lunch. And for lunch, I avoid heavy carbohydrates. I avoid things like one big bowl of rice. No, I take half bowl of rice and then I'll take meat. I'll take a lot of chicken, fish, pork, whatever, and then I'll have some vegetables and I'll consume my meal, right? So there's nothing crazy to spike my dopamine level. Okay, maybe my dopamine's a little spiked because, at the end of the day, I am still eating, and eating is, something that everyone gets dopamine from because we all love food. We have a student. Let me just admit him. Okay, cool. So maybe my dopamine spikes a little bit, right? And then it comes back to normal, right? And around 3 p.m., I work again. And then when it's 5 p.m., I go for gym. I go to the gym. The gym is pretty close to me. I go to the gym. Yes, my dopamine spikes, but not that much. It's natural dopamine. Remember, these are natural dopamine. So my dopamine is back to normal. And then when it's 7 p.m., guess what I do? I load my dopamine over here. So when I say I load my dopamine, this is where I consume my Netflix. This is where I consume my Instagram. Because I'm not perfect. I'm not a robot. I also want enjoyment, right? This is where I go to YouTube. This is where I read a book. This is where I watch an episode, for example. This is where I watch a movie. This is where I listen to music. I keep everything for the end of the day, right? And guess what? When it's time to sleep, it's super easy for me because I know that I've fulfilled everything over here. Because from the time I woke up until 7 p.m., all I did was my work. In your case, it would be studying. All you guys did at the start of the day is studying. So when it comes to the end of the day, you can reward yourself by loading your dopamine. You can throw in whatever you consume throughout the day at the end of the day, right? It's like saving the good things for later. That way, two things happen. Number one, you actually feel motivated to get your work done because there's some kind of reward at the end, that you can watch this or play this video game or watch this episode or go out to play games, go for sports or whatever. You can look forward to it and it happens towards the end of the day, right? And number two, your work or your studies will not get interrupted. You guys will actually have sessions or revision times where you don't get distracted because you are not loading your dopamine throughout the day. You're only loading your dopamine at the end of the day, right? And when that happens, and when it's time to go to bed, it's very easy. Why? Because you only had one artificial spike in dopamine throughout the day, compared to 5 artificial spikes over here. That's why when it comes to the next day, you guys wake up sluggish. Correct? But compare 5 to 1. Which one do you guys think is worse? Obviously 5. When you only have one artificial dopamine spike in a day, your next day will be good. Your next day will not be destroyed because you handled your day like a professional. You handled your day like an actual top A-star student, right? You actually handle your day productively. So when you guys dopamine load like this, you guys can achieve great things. Because guess what happens when your dopamine is good? Your studies become better. Your revision become better. Your focus becomes better. You go to school, you absorb more information, you learn more things. And what happens when you learn more things? You can apply them to exams. And what happens to your exam grade? It shoots up. How do you think I went from failing to 8 A's? This dopamine loading. How do you think one of my kids went from D to A star? This dopamine loading. We are all humans. You all are not some disabled group of kids where you guys just suck at studies. No, that's not true. You guys are just not handling your day properly. So if you make this change, just try it out. Try it out for a day. Do a challenge, do a 24-hour challenge where you just keep the dopamine at the end of the day. You don't have dopamine throughout the day. Normal dopamine is fine, going to the gym or listening to one song when you're washing dishes. Oh, that's all fine. Okay. But do not consume all these artificial dopamine throughout your day. Keep it at the end. And once you keep it at the end, hey, it's a win-win. It's a reward system for you. You actually look forward to enjoying it at night. And your next day, when you wake up, you will feel good. And this process starts again and again. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. It's a cycle of winning. This is how you guys win in your studies. So implement this, and I promise you, you will see your grades shoot up automatically. Automatically. You guys wouldn't have to do anything. Fix your dopamine, and everything else will become much better. And in your case, since you're all students, the output that would be improved would be your grades.